What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of 4 Dummies. Tonight, I am joined with the other 3 dummies. I have Robert Detoff.
Hello. Just kidding. Hello.
I have just one.
Yo, what's happening?
I have Mrs. Skullface.
Hello.
And because we are recording this a week before Valentine's, the Day of Love, we also have Mrs. Just One.
Hey.
We also have Mrs. Detoff.
Hi.
I don't know how committed everybody's going to be to this conversation, but they are present. So know that you are in a space of love. Tonight, we're going to talk about the level of which you permit your children to sort of muck about with your stuff. To me, it is important to kind of introduce these things that I love to my kids. And I do take pride in it. And I do allow them to mess with some stuff at certain levels. But some stuff does, and especially my baby, she likes to get into it. The other ones never really did. And it's kind of pushed me to some of my limits. So I've been curious about you guys.
I'll let Kingston pretty much play with anything if I'm sitting in here. Like, I have to be present. He mostly just likes to play with the cars and stuff like that. Like, if any figure has like the combiners that have a big gun or a big sword, then he'll like to play with those things. But I'm fine with it. I mean, he's not going to break it. He's not trying to transform any of it.
Is Kingston ever allowed in there when you are not there?
No, he'll come in here because there's paper and stuff. So if he needs paper to write, but he doesn't hang out in here.
Where do you keep the paper? In a detail?
Yep.
Robert D.
Beast Wars is fair game. A bottom shelf is basically what Azalea can reach and what she's allowed to play with. But now she's grown and she can reach the fan toy shelf now. But guess what she goes for? She loves MMC's Azalea because she knows she's named after her.
That's cool.
She's very smart, so she knows to be careful with it. But she's still 4, so she doesn't understand ankle tilt and topple. So I get stressed, but I'm there with my hands out waiting for something to fall. They keep it in the room, but if it's something I know is special to her, she treats it with the same reverence. I just make sure something doesn't fall and break. Scarlett, when she doesn't play with them anymore. She used to love playing with them, and she's a very sensitive kid, very nice. I would let Scarlett play with anything. She's very appreciative of the fact that it's something that's important to me, and but she would love anything that transformed into a lion or an animal. Kids like that stuff. She'd ask me to transform it, and then I'd let her play with it, and she would make a whole battle scene. I would sit back and just watch her do it and love it. But I leave any of the kids alone with the stuff? No.
Jane and I used to have these Transformer battles all the time, especially when I had more chug stuff, cool stuff to give a little bit to her, give a little bit to me, and we got these little battles. I remember taking jets and flying them up the steps and attacking one another and all that kind of stuff. But now she doesn't have much interest. She actually will want to appreciate some of the display elements of it and then move on with her day. Selena doesn't really much care about any of it. The baby loves a BB-8. She will snatch a BB-8 off of a shelf. I still have a BB-8 that's unaccounted for. I have no idea where it is, because if she can get her hands on one, it's going to travel. The other thing that she loves are the mask stuff. She will take the shelves that she can reach and take all of those vehicles down. She'll take the humans down. She discards the masks. She wants to see the human face, and then she will play, and she particularly cares for this one specific motorcycle. It's the blue and white one that turned into a hovercraft, but she loves that one. It's her favorite, and she always splits the wheels. She goes through the transformation of it, and then she flies it around. She'll connect the wheels back together and drive it around.
You think it's because of the size of it though too? It's not as daunting. It's not as big of a thing as a Transformers.
I think so. She'll take all that stuff down. There's the shelves that she can reach. There's Jeeps and trucks and all this kind of stuff. Easy to manipulate, cool. Easy to control.
My kids are never into they're never into this. Again, my son will play with it again while I'm in here, but doesn't really care. I've tried to get him to watch the cartoon and stuff. Doesn't care.
If any of them expressed any interest, I would jump to it and say yeah, of course. And I would bring anything down for them to mess with. There is stuff where I would want to be present, and then there is stuff that I wouldn't care so much about.
Right.
But I have 3 girls, and it's not their bag. And I don't even know if it's the bag of modern day boys either. I'm not saying it's a sex thing as much as it is perhaps a generational thing. They don't in general tend to express much interest in playing imaginary, creative kind of play patterns with toys.
Right. That's what I was going to say about my son. He doesn't have a favorite toy, his favorite thing, I've got a favorite YouTube channel or something like that, but he doesn't have a favorite thing that he would always go to.
My older 2, I remember they had a few Marvel Legends. I remember them playing with them together and walking past them, and they were like, well, do you have any homework? Well, no, I don't have any homework. Well, okay. Well, we can play a little bit, and then we're going to take a nap. And I walked past, and I was like, your Avengers are having the most trash adventures of any Avengers ever in the history of the Avengers.
Dude, why do you think that is that kids don't kind of gravitate? I mean, because they still have toys. They still have the opportunity. What is it about just not having that imagination anymore?
For me, like, I feel like my kids do have an imagination. They just choose to express it differently. Like, they like to draw. They like to paint. They like to, like, just the other day, Jaina sculpted this dragon out of clay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. But she doesn't have the drive to play, imaginary play patterns.
It's because of smartphones and iPads.
But they don't have a whole lot of that.
You know what? I wonder if it's because there's nobody. There's not really like kids don't really play in their neighborhood anymore either, and that's kind of when they do that is when they're playing with other kids and stuff.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like if you were just forced to go outside with whatever toy you got or just play with whatever and just you were forced to use your imagination, At
the same time, I don't want to be like the old curmudgeon saying like, well, kids in my day went outside and kids today don't go outside so much. Because I look at kids, and kids in my neighborhood do go outside. But you know what they do when they go outside? Athletic stuff.
Right.
I feel like this generation is way more in tune with exercise. Like, I see kids drinking bottled water. When I was a kid, none of us drank bottled water. I was like, oh, so-and-so's got this push pops. Bring those out. Yeah. But these kids are like, it's like they're already preparing themselves for the gram. Jaina has some toys. Like, she has some Black Series. She has some that she's even bought with her own money. Like, she's like wanted a specific character and tracked it down and bought it. And she has a couple Marvel Legends. But even for her, she has like a shelf for them. They're like there to represent passion. It's a very small setup, and she's perfectly content and doesn't think much about it.
She puts the weapons in their hands, she plays with them, and she puts them back.
But she doesn't play with them. The only kid of mine that I've really actually seen play with toys is Leia.
Kingston would love to come in here and just play with everything if he could, but he won't because Jordan's like made him fearful.
I mean,
I know.
What a jerk.
He just knows he loses a finger, dude. I go by the old laws.
I go by the old laws. The old toy laws.
Kingston does now, but it doesn't last long. Maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then he's back on the iPad or on the hoverboard.
There's something about the way that my stuff is set up down here where they feel, like especially the older ones, feel like don't touch it, don't touch it, don't look at it. A lot of it, I would be like, do you want to mess with this? I'll bring it down. You can mess with it. You know what I mean? You can play with it.
Yeah, but think about, like, from a kid's standpoint, all their toys are either in, like, a toy box or in their closet. What stuff's kept in shelves and in cupboards? Adult shit. So I think that just sets the tone already. They're like, oh, no, this is adults. Like, it's like dishes. It's in a cabinet. We don't play with the dishes, so we don't play with this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
Bobby, what is the biggest violation any of your children have done with respect to your collectibles?
Honestly, I don't know if I've had one.
Leia's definitely messed up some of that mask stuff.
Yeah, but it's not like a huge violation. It's like you just go back and sort it out.
I just had my kid order $600 worth of stuff from Amazon, but that's about it.
Even the stuff that like Leia has messed with, it's almost like, oh, she won't stop playing with this stuff. But in my heart, I'm like, oh, she's playing with this stuff. There's a charm to it, but she's been the only one. I think it really does come down to the way that they perceive the presentation and how it's supposed to be respected. I hear people all the time saying like, well, don't your kids get into it? And I'm like, no, I wish they would, but none of them touch it.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, if we weren't so anal about our displays and the collectible aspect of it, maybe they're kind of picking up that it's off limits. Maybe we're part of the reason why they're not playing with it.
I think you're right
about that.
That's what I was just saying to Sarah for a minute. I was like, it's weird. Because Kingston's a kid. If you're like, hey, look, don't climb in this cupboard, the first thing he's going to do is go climb in the cupboard. So it is weird that, like, he doesn't come in here to touch any of this stuff. Because that's kind of in his bag, is to kind of be, mischievous.
Right. It is peculiar. And I hear from, like, people in the community saying all the time about their kids and getting into stuff. But, like, that experience is so foreign to me. And a lot of this, they're more than welcome to. A lot of times people will get them stuff because of my connection to it. Like, people will be like, oh, you probably want this. And they get my kid stuff. And my kids don't care. And then, I inherit 2 more Porgs on my shelf and 1 more Pop R2D2 on my stand or whatever the case may be.
What I want to know is who's more protective of this stuff, right? The spouses who don't collect but feel the financial pain of the purchases, or the collectors?
Probably not, but I think you say that this stuff is open to them, but I think it's also been made very clear that, like, this room is not a playroom. These things are not to be touched. You can show your friends, but they can come down. They're not allowed to touch anything. So I think that that has been very well established that these things are off limits.
So I don't think that's true. I have said I don't think your your friends. I don't want their friends. I don't know their friends. Whenever they've asked, like, can I look at this one? I'm like, yeah, of course, Selena or Jaina. You know, but like not your friends. Like, you know, your friends can't come down here and have a picnic. No, of course not. No. I'm more okay with them picking up something and messing with it than I am with them jumping on the furniture. The jumping on the furniture is not a basement thing. That's how I feel about all of the house. I just have more control in the basement. To be fair, I'll be like, your mother may tolerate it upstairs, but I don't. But I certainly won't tolerate it downstairs.
Laura, would you classify Bobby as a control freak?
Come on now. Listen to the fear in her voice
No,
as she
there's
articulates
no
it.
fear. No, because it's interesting because I kind of consider myself a little bit of a control freak. But yes, he definitely is in certain ways.
I think I just have these brackets where I'm a control freak about certain areas. And some stuff I'm more relaxed and laissez-faire, and other stuff I'm like, nope, we're not doing that.
Laissez-faire. Famous Geordies.
Knockwurst.
Kids playing with toys.
That scene from Willy Wonka with Augustus Gloop getting bribed with a pile of knockwurst.
Cobbler?
Cobbler.
Wait.
Well, hold on.
Pie.
Like the man or the pie?
A
Both.
man.
And